I am excited to say that we are about to get one of the most anticipated fights in all of One Punch Man, that of course being Saitama versus Tatsumaki. Chapter 177 of One Punch Man has just dropped, and of course, as always, Murata brings the heat in this one with some great storytelling, some more world building, and without spoiling too much of the chapter, Tatsumaki is about to be humbled for sure. And on top of that, unfortunately, Fubuki gets her heart broken. But before I get into all that, if you guys haven't noticed already, I'm a little bit under the weather. I've been sick for a couple days now, but I am still here bringing you guys the One Punch Man content, bringing you chapter reviews before probably anybody else. So help support the channel by subscribing, liking, commenting, sending me a super thanks. Anything would be very, very much appreciated because I'm always here for you guys. But all right, let's get into the chapter. So we actually start off away from the action with A-class hero Air waking up in the hospital. And if you guys remember a couple chapters back, Air is the hero that got pierced in the neck by evil natural water just before Pig God ate it. So we're kind of seeing the result of that here, as we also see Forte in the same infirmary room. And of course, you guys remember a couple chapters back as well, we saw Forte get totally nailed by a car carrying Fubuki in it. So Forte is here explaining to him exactly what happened, that, you know, he pretty much got done in by evil natural water and was sent to the hospital. And then some doctors actually interject and say that the reason that his voice sounds kind of funny is because they did some kind of cybernetic modifications to his neck to help save his life. And this might seem kind of like a little random throw in here, but you definitely want to put a pin in this because this whole concept, the whole concept of cyborgifying humans, gets much more heavily elaborated on later on in this arc. So you definitely want to put a pin in this conversation for much later. Well, we come to find out that Forte apparently thinks that Saitama had some kind of hidden power that he was hiding from Forte, because he thinks that that huge hit he took from the car was actually from Saitama. But Butterfly DX is there to tell him that no, dude, you actually got hit by a car. And what's pretty funny is that they also kind of bring up the same point that Saitama did from earlier, that you shouldn't be listening to music while you're fighting, especially in the middle of the street, you know? So of course he's super salty about that and honestly pretty embarrassed. But we then cut back over to Saitama and Tatsumaki, who are still having their standoff, as Tatsumaki tries to throw as much of her psychic pressure, her psychic power as Saitama as she can, and he is barely moving, but we see that the force is so great from her pressure, from her attack, that it's shooting out of the wall that they're in and seems to be going like 2 miles outside of the Hero Association, creating this huge streaming crater. Like, the pressure she's giving off is no freaking joke here. So of course he's super confused as to how Saitama's taking this without seeming to breaking a sweat at all. So if this goes anything like the webcomic, she goes on to explain that even non-espers have kind of a life force surrounding them. You know, many call it chakra or chi, which can be manipulated by espers in order to influence their bodies. So she tries doing this to Saitama to twist him around and kind of try to thrash him around, but all it does is make him vibrate really fast. So she's learning very quickly that he is this immovable object, and there's much more to this bald guy than meets the eye. So Tatsumaki starts wondering, like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this for Fubuki? Is he her friend, part of the Fubuki group, whatever? Well, Saitama goes on to elaborate that he's not really her friend. He's not even a friend of a friend. He's just somebody that she knows. She's just an acquaintance to him. And this makes Fubuki visibly upset, and I can't help but feel bad for her. I mean, I know she's a little pretentious sometimes, a little stuck up, but she still has been there for Saitama through some sticky situations, and I think she sees him as a friend at this point, even if she shows it in a super weird way. So friggin' Saitama, man, just cut her some slack. At least lie and say that she's a friend, you know? But whatever. Tatsumaki, of course, thinks this is ridiculous, but again, if this follows along with the webcomic dialogue, Saitama says something along the lines of, "Witness the power of Fubuki's acquaintance, you shit-faced brat." And this, of course, pisses her off to no end, as she sends out this massive burst of psychic energy to try and send Saitama flying again. And it starts destroying everything around them and rattling the entirety of the Hero Association. And this is when other A-class heroes like Lightning Genji and Stinger actually start to notice where the distress is coming from. And as we cut back to the basement where they're at, we see the room literally get contorted and twisted around like it's literally about to be turned into spaghetti or something. So Saitama sees this and notices that everybody's about to be crushed if they continue this whole little altercation right there where they're at. So Saitama tells Fubuki to make sure that everybody else is safe in that basement and that he's going to take the fight somewhere else. So he literally bear hugs Tatsumaki, plants his Crocs in the ground, and launches both of them out of the Hero Association straight into the sky. And the look on Tatsumaki's face while this is going on says it all, honestly. This is pretty incredible. If this didn't give Tatsumaki a good idea of how strong Saitama is, then I don't know what will. So of course, for those of you that have read the webcomic, we kind of know what's going to be going on here. After this point, we all know the insanity that's about to go on in these next couple chapters. So I'm very excited to see that. But where we close off in this one is we actually see a couple lower level monsters attempt to make an escape. And one of them actually includes Tongue Stretcher, which is the guy that you see in the first episode of season 2 of the anime, if you guys remember. And they're about to make their escape, but they notice that there's literally like 30 heroes in that basement. So they're like, ah, no, never mind. And they just close the door behind them. And that's where the chapter ends. I know we didn't really get to the meat of the battle in this chapter, but I'm very excited to see the setup here. And I'm also very excited to see the setup for a lot of things that are going to be coming in the future of this arc. So although it doesn't seem like a lot, I think there actually was a lot of things put into this chapter that helps set up for a lot of things to come. So bear with me here, guys. I promise you, you will not be disappointed once the next chapter comes out. But what did you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments below what you think about Murata's adaptation of this webcomic chapter. I think it's pretty one for one in this one. It's pretty much copy and pasting the panels, the dialogue, everything. Do you guys hope that the rest of this fight is going to be another carbon copy of everything that happens in the webcomic? Or do you want to see some changes, some new additions be added into this fight? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day, and I hope this chapter review made your day just a little bit better, and I'll see you guys in the next video.